Do we know how many people are registered?
I don't know.
No.
No. I can check after.
Cool.
Hello and welcome to the Brampton Board of Trade Expert Series. We are excited to be here today with Dave Peters, and I'll get into a little bit about his bio in a second, but I just want to welcome everyone who has chosen to spend a little bit of time with us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our expert series, sort of the W's, the who, what, why, where, when, and a little bit more information about the Brampton Board of Trade. So a year ago, March, we started up the expert series as a way to share information with businesses. There's so much information out there, and this was a really great way to bring in experts in different subject matters and do a little bit of a conversational Q&A, stream to Facebook Live, and give people the chance to ask questions, to answer questions, to present some new businesses as subject matter experts. So it's been wildly successful. I think we're up over 50 plus expert series, and you can actually check those out at bramptonbot.com/expert series. And this is part of one of the many things that we have done during this crazy time that we're all living through. So in the midst of constant changes and not knowing sort of what's coming next, I read a meme on Facebook the other day. They said, I don't even know what's open anymore. I just walk into the door of a building, and if it's closed, then I turn around and leave again. And that's kind of where we are. We don't really know what's going on, but we are doing our best here at the Brampton Board of Trade to provide reliable information so that we can look forward to the rest of 2021 and into 2022. And we want to do that with confidence and enthusiasm and excitement for what is coming next. So on that note, I am excited to introduce Dave. And Dave comes to us from ACM. And I have to be honest with you, viewers here, that I jumped into this quite last minute, and we're going to call it the interview today. I didn't expect to be on camera, but I trust that you will all accept me just the way I am. So Absolute Change Management, fairly new member of the Brampton Board of Trade. And for those who have attended a few of our open door discussions and Connect Work, you've had the chance to meet with Crystal Hill, who has proven to be a really great resource. And Dave, I'm a big fan of Crystal, so I'm glad that
so are we. Yeah, we love her.
Yeah, she's been great. So I'll give a little bit about your bio. Dave Peters is an entrepreneur with over 20 years of national and international experience in helping organizations drive results, engage teams, and implement positive change. Back in 1997, together with a partner, they founded a change management company based on the principles of reason, opportunity, and respect. He's a passionate communicator with a deep understanding of the human condition. Dave has a commanding teaching and speaking presence, along with a solid personal grounding to deal positively with conflict. He has the unique ability to draw out the talents and strengths of the people he's working with. Peters has been instrumental in helping clients achieve many goals and change initiatives, which have delivered millions of dollars in bottom line improvements to organizations. He has extensive experience at an international level as a technical problem-solving consultant, trainer, and facilitator specializing in engagement, productivity improvements, and lean. Peters' work centers on positive interpersonal communication, technical problem analysis, decision-making, implementation of solutions, and knowledge management in organizations. So before we get into the really good stuff, Peter, or Dave, see, I'm going to call you Peter.
Oh yeah, no, that's common.
You get that a lot, don't you? How are you doing today? Tell us a little
fantastic. Bit. Yeah, you know what? The weather's better than it was forecast to be, and life is good. And you know, hopefully we're coming out of this pandemic. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I need my kids back in school.
I just want mine out of the house. Part of my exit strategy.
Yeah. Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about, we're going to talk a little bit about succession planning, and I'm interested to hear your expertise there. So talk to me a little bit about why do business owners need to plan for this? Why do they need to talk about succession planning and planning for your exit?
Well, so one of the biggest challenges entrepreneurs find at some point in time is they want to exit and they don't know how to exit. And so they're not able to exit on their own terms. They're not able to exit in their own timeline. And so planning for it is actually giving yourself the ability to do that. It's making sure that you have a plan that ensures you're financially secure, that you're leaving a healthy business for your successor, whether that successor is one of your children, somebody you've mentored, or the person or business that is purchasing you. And so, entrepreneurs create businesses because it's something that they're passionate about and they believe in, and so they want to see that continue after they're gone, but they don't think about that. We typically are not we're typically not planners. Typically entrepreneurs are like, grab the bull by the horns. I'm going to wrestle this in the ground and let's go. And so planning is something that doesn't really usually enter into the realm until one day it sort of creeps up on us, and we're like, oh, what? Oh, yeah, I want to exit. Mm-hmm. And so it's an important part, of the whole entrepreneurial journey, is to make sure that you start building a plan.
And that makes sense. I always say that, sometimes you're too busy doing the work to plan to do the work. And, you're too busy responding to kind of those day-to-day, taking advantage of opportunities.
Exactly, Christy. And so what ends up happening is that, Michael E. Gerber talks about in the Entrepreneurial Myth Revisited, he talks at length about that we get stuck working in the business, and we never pull back and work on the business. And a big part of succession planning is working on it, structuring it for success of the next generation. And so that becomes a critical piece that we need to take time for. And if we don't, as entrepreneurs, take that time, then eventually time will catch up, and then we have to. The other thing I think that people that start businesses and grow businesses, they often think of it as something that's going to be stifling. And the reality is that as you begin to act on it, it becomes incredibly liberating. So it's along the way, it allows you to grow, and it's like a nice side benefit of your succession planning is it allows you to continue to grow, both in terms of your scale, but also in terms of your profitability.
Okay, so for entrepreneurs, what should they be working on right now? What are some actions that they can take, regardless of sort of where you are, whether you're in the sort of that first startup, super exciting, let's implement the idea phase, or 10, 20 years out still from succession planning, or from being able to pass the business on to somebody else? What could we start planning for now?
The first thing that they need to do is actually commit that this is that there's a value proposition here, and that this is going to make a difference in my business and in my personal life. And when you commit, then they need to actually carve out time. They need to dedicate time to the process and structure it into their life. A lot of people, as soon as you say structure it into my life, and that's where they run. But the reality is that's what needs to happen. So the next thing is people need to start looking at, what are my options? When I start thinking about retirement, what does that look like? Am I going to sell? If I'm going to sell, who am I selling to? Am I going to transition? And if I'm going to transition, again, to who? Is it to one of my children? Are they prepared? Are they capable? And getting an honest, objective analysis of whether or not the existing team is capable is critical. Some of the other things that people don't want to look at, but if they don't plan, eventually they will face is one of two things. They'll either have to close the business and receive nothing for it, or they can't retire. And we're in a situation right now where Unfortunately, one of the people that's called us is 81 years old, and he has been unable to retire, and he's now putting money back into the business that made him millions. And so now it's either close or find a non-equitable transition, and so that's not a great place to be. Contrast that to a number of other organizations we're working on where they've stepped up, and father pulling us in, saying I need to work with my team, with my sons, to see whether or not they're capable, and what are my other options. And so our position has been to provide them with a minimum of 3 different exit plans, so that what you want to do is position yourself so that you're able to choose from the best of the 2 or 3 or 4 options that you have, not be stuck with no options. And so that's the next thing that people need to act on. The third thing they need to decide is, what's their timeline? Where do they see themselves 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? And then this is the one that I think, and if they were to read Scaling Up, that's behind me, or if they were to read the E-Myth Revisited, they'll understand your job at some point in the business is to make yourself, as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, as redundant as possible. And because I will tell you right now, that alone doubles the value of your business. That, because otherwise I'm purchasing the business, but I'm purchasing it with you. You come along as part of the tag. And so now you're still not free. But if you're the linchpin in the organization, then I need you in order for that organization to continue to run, to be profitable, to be to grow. And so our job as entrepreneurs is to make ourselves redundant. And so that involves assessing your team honestly, finding and preparing a successor, making sure that person is going to be successful. They might be more successful than you, and that's got to be okay. Then building the health of your business, understanding that the health of the business means looking at and the monetary value now, understanding what it is, understanding how businesses are evaluated, and then looking for things like, what is it that you bring to the market that makes you special? What is it that you bring to the market that is going to be really, really interesting to other people? Some people in the industry call it, what's your Rembrandt in the attic? And that's the thing that you do that other people are unaware of, and that would be extremely strategically valuable to somebody in the industry, whether it's your competitor or maybe it's your customer. That if they understood that, they would really, they would pay a premium price. Because typically, people, when they go to sell their business, they're looking for 3 to 5 times their EBITDA. We encourage that you should be looking for, a minimum of 10 times, but you need to understand and be planning for that. You need to do the things that we're talking about if you want to exit with that kind of number. And so that's an important part.
So if I just to summarize your points real quickly. So commit to it. Looking at what your options are, whether it's sell, transition, close the business. And if you're looking at transition, you need to do an analysis, an objective one of your current team, making sure that the resources are in place, looking at a timeline, sort of 5, 10, 15 years. And I want to come back to that in a second. And, building in the redundancies. So making sure that the founder is not, they're not so integral to the company that they can't leave it. They can't retire. They are that sort of 81-year-old that doesn't have the ability to retire.
Yeah. And along the way, like honestly, Christy, just to be able to do things like to be able to take a vacation and actually shut your cell phone off and not have to worry or panic or like, so that you can just go on that vacation and actually, relax and enjoy where you are and be in the moment that you're in instead of worrying about all the moments that you're missing back at the office. So yeah, it really does drive some serious quality of life improvement.
And then how many years out should we, we talk with entrepreneurs of all different ages. So
Yes.
I'm thinking of, a 30-year-old entrepreneur. And I remember being 30 and I'm not an entrepreneur, but retirement is such a far-fetched idea and concept. How far out should we be starting to think about these plans?
It's the 5, 10, 15 years, it should start at any point. It doesn't need to, the 5, 10, 15 years is not, it shouldn't be relevant to how old you are today. So, a 30-year-old entrepreneur, I take my nephew as an example. He's planning to be out by 45. He's growing right now, one of Canada's fastest technology companies. He's in the 30 under 30, but they have a 15-year exit strategy.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter what age you're at. It matters where you are in your business journey and what you see as the potential and what you've decided you want out.
Right.
So once you have those answers, then the pathway becomes clear to setting that 5-year, 10-year, 15-year goal.
Okay. And what are business owners looking for right now? Sort of those that are, what help, what information are you finding that business owners are coming to you right now? Obviously we're coming out of unprecedented times, very challenging, very disruptive. Business owners are coming to you. What help and resources are they looking for?
So one of them is the ability to pivot. They're really looking for that. What is it that we could do that differently that will allow us to continue to be prosperous and to continue or to regrow. They're definitely there's an increased focus on business operational effectiveness. They want to bolster their bottom line, create stronger profits. To create a more robust, highly engaged team. So that focus is increasing the market value of their company and securing their place in the market when the market is in such upheaval. That focus is putting them in a position when we come out of this to be in a rapid growth stage.
Okay,
so that's one of the things, and what that does is Chrissy, is that drives your business to become a sought after business rather than just a commodity. And so, from a valuation perspective, that's absolutely huge. The results of that is more money in the pocket of the owner. It also ensures the legacy that that person wants to leave and create and sets up the successor with a strong business that they can lead forward. The third thing that we're seeing people is an increased interest to train and develop their team. So we're seeing a lot of issues with, quite honestly, with people not showing up to work, people not being able to, they have work, but they have enormous capacity constraints because people aren't showing up or they're not applying for the jobs. And so a big part of our focus right now is supporting clients through that building process, and and then making sure that in that process that we're working with the leaders to continue that growth and that exit strategy and hold them accountable to the execution of that plan.
Right. Okay, so looking at securing your place in the market and being a sought after business and sort of how you, and finding those resources. And, obviously you're here because ACM is an expert in that area. And that's
Yeah.
something that you're working on.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's constant, and you need and you know, we're constantly helping organizations to do that, and to build their bench strength, and to create that robust culture where people are engaged from the leadership all the way through to the front line, and that there's decision making and problem solving that are in the interest of the customer and in the interest of the company, and that the workforce will stand behind as being the best decision possible. And it's fun. It can be a really fun and exciting ride.
Yeah, and it's certainly, everything you've said is certainly on track with what we've been hearing from other businesses as well, in terms of, challenges that they're facing, solutions that they're looking for, trends in employees, people, showing up to work and, being able to have that really engaged, well-trained, dedicated workforce.
Yeah, and and part of that is, when you talk about the well-trained, dedicated workforce, is making sure that not only is the frontline workforce well-trained, dedication comes, study after study shows that it really comes from how their interaction with their immediate supervisor is. Are they listened to? Do they feel respected? Do they feel like they're valued? Do they feel that their opinion matters?
Mm-hmm.
Can they see direct sight line of their contribution to the organization? And so people talk about money. Money is number 5
Right.
on people's list of why they leave a job. And so I just working with a young entrepreneur, phenomenal young guy, and he left a really high paying job to start his own journey. And a big part of what he said to me yesterday was like, it was just filling my bank account, but nothing else. It was making me feel hollow and empty. And so it's like, people don't want that. They want to feel that their work matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of that growth, when companies are coming to us and saying, so how do we develop our succession and our team and create that robust culture, that's part of it, is building the supervisor so that they're listening, that they're engaging with the front line, and making sure that they're elevating. So the more they elevate, the better we are.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite interview questions to ask when we're hiring is, what did you like and not like about previous supervisors? And it always, feeling heard, feeling welcomed, feeling important, feeling listened to by their supervisors are always the things that people like the most. So yeah, that's interesting. So one more question for you.
Yeah.
Or do you want to go ahead?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. One piece of advice that you would give to entrepreneurs that are listening today, what would you say is sort of your number one piece that you would give?
Decide. It decide and then take action. It's the most difficult thing to do, is to actually make a decision, because when you have two things in front of you, when you decide, that means one of them goes away.
Right.
And so that's really, and it's like, well, I'm just going to hedge because I have more than one option. You need to decide. You need to decide and commit, and then from there, start to take action. It's when I decided 8 years ago to start transitioning out of the business, it was a conscious decision to say, I'm going to build this team, I'm going to build the business, and I'm going to make myself redundant. And so it's not a simple process, but it's a valuable and enriching process. And when you watch it happen, and then you see some of the clients that we worked with that have grown the business from 30 million to 100 million and exited out in a very, very happy life, it's because the first thing they did was decide, and then start figuring out what actions do we need to take.
Yeah, and you said it's not a simple process. It sounds like it's not a quick process either. I can't decide today that 6 months from now, I'm going to be able to hand my business over if I haven't made any of those plans 5, 10, and 15 years out, it sounds like.
You know what happens, Christy, is people do that.
Mhm.
And what they've done is they have not set their successors up for success. And
Mhm.
they have not set themselves up for, monetarily for the best they could have achieved.
Right.
Because they by doing that and saying last minute, okay, in the next 6 months, I'm going to do this, and they pull the trigger, they're severely compromising what they could have and should have earned as a result of a successfully executed succession plan.
Right.
And so it doesn't set up the next generation for success. We need to understand that second generation businesses, 76% of them fail.
Wow.
30 third generation businesses, 97% fail. Why? Because we haven't set them up. We haven't challenged them. We haven't coached them. We haven't mentored them. We haven't created the expectations, the accountabilities, the responsibility for that person to drive that business.
Mhm.
Excuse me. In and of ourselves, we haven't recognized that maybe our child is not the right successor. We want to leave the business to them, but maybe they should be running the business from their pickup truck. Maybe they should be out in the field. We have a customer, and his son is a wonderful guy. If we put him in the boardroom, we've recognized that we're going to kill him.
Right.
And so we can't put him in the boardroom. So somebody else has to take that role. Somebody else has to be the president. He can still own the business. He can still run it from the background, but he can't be the front face. He can't be the person in the head office. And he's decided that on his own. He said, you know what, that's not me. And so, that becomes that piece where, when you decide, you need to decide not just that you're going to exit, you need to decide what's the legacy. One of our other customers, they said, look, we need, for my father's sake, we need our name to, whoever it was to purchase us, our name needs to stay on that building.
Right.
And the atmosphere, the family atmosphere that we've created needs to be part and parcel, so that when he comes on his 95th birthday to visit the business, that the people that he groomed and mentored are still there, and that they're still a part and parcel of the organization. And so, again, that's all part of the decision-making process. If you're going to sell, who are you going to sell to? And what's the legacy that you want to leave? Some people, it doesn't matter. Some people just say, look, just get me the most money possible. That's
Right.
okay too. And that, and it's a matter of, that's what I say. It's a matter of the first piece of advice is decide.
Right. Decide. Okay. Excellent. So, conscious of time,
Yes.
we'll wrap this up, but I want to give you a chance to tell us a little bit more where we can find more information and how we can get in touch with you.
So our website is www.acminc.net, and phone numbers on there. Emails on there. We'd be more than delighted to speak with people if they want to chat with us and find more information. You can always just reach me on my cell, 905-327-6100. It rings quite frequently, much to the annoyance of my family.
I know I've been trying to, so, the whole virtual learning, my kids are upstairs. Sometimes I've been doing some parenting by text. I don't recommend it. It's not great, but it's just where we are right now, right?
It is, absolutely. It is, absolutely.
So I want to say thank you to you, Dave, for joining us today and for the information. And I hope that we will continue to see yourself and your teammates, Crystal, continuing to come to some of our events, because you've got some great insight to offer. So thank you.
It's our pleasure. We're glad to be part of the Brampton Board of Trade. We're really excited to grow with you.
Excellent. And I also want to just share with our listeners here a couple of upcoming dates so everyone can mark their calendars. So Monday at 5 o'clock, it is part of our Next Gen Network. So it's looking at, generally, young not necessarily entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs. So this is leading up to our top 40 under 40. So these are current and future leaders. And we're bringing people together to hear from a couple of our past top 40 under 40 award recipients to have discussions on what the business community needs. I'm very excited. Just as we were talking here, I just got an email confirmation from Brandon Evans, who is with Heart and Hustle Fitness and is going to be doing a little bit about physical, emotional, and mental health right now, especially for that cohort. So that is Monday, May 31st. Open door discussions. We'll be talking about digital transformation, then that is June 3rd, and that is open to members and people who want to learn more about membership. So it's a great opportunity to come and sort of bring your questions and meet new people. June 9th is the other date that I'm going to share, and that is our Business Women's networking group, and that is Connect Work. So we are very excited about that. You can find out all of those at bramptonbot.com, and Justina has put those in those links in the chat. So I encourage everyone to check those out, to keep asking your questions and get in touch with each other and get in touch with us if you have any questions. And other than that, I hope that everyone stays safe and healthy, and we'll see each other in person hopefully soon. So thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you.